Hello, friends. Welcome to eTargati, where education is digitalized. And today we shall take up another daily Hindu newspaper analysis, continuing our series where we shall discuss, I'm sorry, where we shall discuss 20th August 2020. Okay, let's have a discussion of the occurrences which occurred basically yesterday and which are in today's Hindu newspaper and which is useful for our Group 1, Group 2, UPSC, and other examinations. So through this series for the uninitiated మనం న్యూస్ పేపర్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఒక సీక్వెన్షియల్ మేనర్లో కవర్ చేస్తాం అంటే వీ షిల్ బిగిన్ విత్ ద హెడ్లైన్స్ దెన్ వీ షిల్ టేక్ అప్ ద స్టేట్ స్పెసిఫిక్ న్యూస్ అండ్ వీ షిల్ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ ఎడిటోరియల్స్ సో దట్ మీకు ఒక కాంప్రిహెన్సివ్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ఉంటుంది రిగార్డింగ్ గ్రూప్ వన్ ఇప్పుడు ఏపీపీఎస్సిలో వచ్చే క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎలా ఉంటాయో నవంబర్లో మెయిన్స్ కోసం అదేవిధంగా గ్రూప్ టూకి ప్రిలిమ్స్ బిట్స్ అండ్ యూపీఎస్సికి ఎడిటోరియల్స్ అండ్ కావాల్సిన కాన్సెప్చువల్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ అన్నీ మీకు ఈ వీడియోలో ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. సో మళ్ళీ మీకు రిమైండ్ చేయడానికి ఈ కంటెంట్ ప్రిపేర్ చేయడానికి మన టీం అంతా ఎర్లీ మార్నింగ్ లేచి ప్రాపర్ ఆర్టికల్స్ మీకోసం క్యూరేట్ చేసి అండ్ రెలవెంట్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ యాడ్ చేస్తూ మీకు ఒక పర్ఫెక్ట్ అనాలిసిస్ ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. సో ఐ కైండ్లీ రిక్వెస్ట్ యూ టు మేక్ యూ ఫుల్ యూజ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఫ్రీ కోర్స్, free module, and help us grow by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. And also, please share it to your friends. There are a lot of positive comments coming up. We are very humbled by them, but we also are aiming to grow our channel because మనకి ఇప్పుడు చాలా కోర్సెస్ ఏవైతే స్టార్ట్ అవబోతున్నాయి ఈ తరగతి నుంచి ఫర్ గ్రూప్ 1, గ్రూప్ 2, యూపీఎస్సీ అండ్ ఆల్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్. సో దానికి కావాల్సిన బూస్ట్ మనం ఈ న్యూస్ పేపర్ అనాలిసిస్తో తెచ్చుకోవాలి. So please help us, friends. And without further ado, let us begin with the first article for today. The big article for today, which is a big headlines and which would impact the aspirants and candidates to a large extent, at least from next year, is the government is planning to set up the National Recruitment Agency. So NRA ఏదైతే ఉందో ఏదైతే యాక్చువల్లీ బడ్జెట్లో డిస్కస్ చేశారో ఎన్ఆర్ఏ అది దానికి కావాల్సిన న్యూస్ నిన్న వచ్చింది ఎందుకంటే యూనియన్ క్యాబినెట్ has finally approved the creation for the NRA, conducting a common eligibility test for various government jobs. And for this, the Information Broadcasting Minister, Prakash Javadekar, he has told that the cabinet has taken a historic decision, and this would benefit at least 2.5 to 3 crores candidates who applied for 1.25 lakh to Group B and Group C jobs by 3 agencies every year with separate schedule and fees. And అదేవిధంగా సెక్రటరీ ఆఫ్ డిఓపిటి ఎవరైతే ఐఏఎస్ ఉంటారో హీ హాస్ టోల్డ్ దట్ టు బిగిన్ విత్ 3 ఆఫ్ ద 20 సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఏజెన్సీస్ విచ్ స్టార్ట్ ద ఎన్ఆర్ఏ. ఈ 3 ఏంటేంటి? మన రైల్వే రిక్రూట్మెంట్ బోర్డ్ ఆర్ఆర్బి and SSC, Staff Selection Commission, and IBPS. So these 3 big examinations which 2.5 to 3 crore candidates prepare for, they would be taken up by the NRA from next year, and it would be given a boost very soon. And gradually, they're saying, gradually all the central government agencies would be recruited under the NRA. So all the central government agencies, so మీరు ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు 20 ఏజెన్సీస్ అంటున్నారు సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ రిక్రూట్మెంట్స్లో, దానికి ఆల్ త్వరలో అవడం జరుగుతుంది. అండ్ ఒక కామన్ ఎలిజిబిలిటీ టెస్ట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇట్ వుడ్ ఎనేబుల్ ద క్యాండిడేట్స్ టు అపియర్ వన్స్ అండ్ అప్లై టు ఎనీ ఆర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ ది రిక్రూట్మెంట్ ఏజెన్సీస్ ఫర్ హైయర్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్. సో కామన్ సిఈటి అయ్యాక అప్పుడు వాళ్ళు హైయర్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ లైక్ యూపీఎస్సీ ఉంటే దానికి ఒక నెక్స్ట్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ ద్వారా చేయడం జరుగుతుందని yesterday cabinet decisionలో they have taken a call. And దీన్ని జస్ట్ ఇక్కడ ఉంది, the NRA will conduct for 3 sectors, the RRB, SSC and the IBPS, and it will be held separately for 3 levels: graduate, 12th pass and 10th pass for non-technical posts of these 3 agencies. And it would be conducted twice a year. in 12 languages. This important thing. Like here, as a continuation, they have told that అండ్ క్యాండిడేట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎస్సీ ఎస్టీ అండ్ ఓబీసీ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో అందరికీ ఇప్పుడు గవర్నమెంట్ సర్వీసెస్లో ఏ రిలాక్సేషన్ రిజర్వేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ కంటిన్యూ అవుతాయి. అండ్ ద గవర్నమెంట్ హెస్ శాంక్షన్ 1,500 crores for the setup of NRE. We have seen the levels, and here the important part is the Minister of State for Personal Public Grievances and Pension, Jitendra Singh. He has told that the attempt would be made to expand it to all the languages in the 8th schedule. ఇప్పుడు presently 12 languagesలో స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు అండ్ అన్ని లాంగ్వేజెస్ ఏదైతే ఉన్నాయో all the languages of 8th schedule the examination will be conducted. And candidates would have the facility for registering a common portal, and they would also be given a choice of their centers based on the allotted centers. So that is the big news coming up for today. And for more details, like ఇది ఎప్పుడైతే వచ్చిందో న్యూస్ the union budget, when it was announced by our finance minister Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman in February, appude this announcement was made that common NRA with a CET would be set up. They had given an announcement, and here a standardized question bank with multiple questions of similar difficulty levels would be created in a central server. And there would be an algorithm to jumble and roll out different questions so that each candidate receives a different question paper. So దీంతో there would be less cheating and no paper leakage. So the scores would be generated quickly, and they would be delivered online and would be valid for 3-year period. 3-year varaku the score will be valid and can appear for the higher examinations. And the students, they can also write the test multiple times as long as they are within the age limit with their best score taken into account. So ultimately the aim is to allow examination by appointment at the convenience of the candidates. And presently it would help once a year antunaru, but ninnati Hindu newspaper lo it has been told that twice a year this exam will be conducted. You can see here they have told that it will be conducted, it will be valid for 3 years, and the best score would be taken up. So let us see for the final details of the NRA and how many times a year and what are the specific schematics and logistics of it. We shall get to know soon. But this is a very big development for the competitive examinations. Mottam the field of competitive examinations might have a paradigm shift. Let us see how it evolves. The next important news is Cabinet has also approved the leasing of 3 airports. So there's a PPP model of 50 years అది ప్రపోజ్ చేస్తున్నారు. 3 airports ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో మీకు ఇప్పుడు Group 2 and Group 1 prelims examinationకి you should remember Jaipur, Guwahati and Trivandrum. ఈ 3 airports ఒక PPP మోడల్లో 50 years వరకు it will be leased. Okay, the process is leasing and it would be leased. And you can see Prakash Javadekar has told that the AAI is not giving these airports permanently. After running them for 50 years, the private operator would be handing over the airports back to the AAI. So the government would receive 1,070 crores. So such a huge amount it would be received by the government from the leasing of the private operator in Jaipur, Guwahati and Thiruvananthapuram. And these 3 airports were among a total of 6 where Adani Enterprise Limited has emerged as the highest bidder. Like other kuda unnai, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Mangalore, they were approved for handing over to private player, and the remaining 3 weren't because of legal cases. Because Adani Enterprises, they had sought a extension of 6 months for taking over Lucknow, Ahmedabad and Mangalore, citing pandemic. Anyway, that is the current development, but what is more useful for us is why is airports or infrastructure leased? అసలు ఉన్న గవర్నమెంట్లో ఉన్న ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ని మనం ప్రైవేట్ ప్లేయర్స్కి ఎందుకు ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది? Because airports, they basically leased out to private players for redevelopment on the basis of revenue sharing arrangement with AI. We have seen here ఇది 1070 crores ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఇలా రెవెన్యూ షేరింగ్ ఒకటి ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఇన్ ఎడిషన్ టు ఇంపోజింగ్ a user fee on passengers, the private developer also has right to establish new revenue streams like real estate development around the airport. ఇప్పుడు హైదరాబాద్ ఎయిర్పోర్టే ఉందనుకోండి, దెర్ ఇస్ ద ఎయిర్పోర్ట్స్, దే హ్యావ్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ రియల్ ఎస్టేట్ around them. They have a lot of empty space. I'm sorry, there's some issue with the pen tab. Anyway, so they have a lot of real estate because when the airports and other areas they are sanctioned, the land development also comes with the airport. So here the private player can make use of the revenue stream by leasing, by making use of the land around the airport. And this is actually in line with our NCAP, the National Civil Aviation Policy 2016 ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో అక్కడ they have told there should be an annual domestic ticketing of 350 million by 2022 and 500 million by 2027 compared to presently అంటే 2017లో it was 243 million. So there should be a system wide airport capacity already crossing 80% utilization. Infrastructure constraints ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో they're becoming apparent. And rapid urbanization, rising millennials and real incomes though, like traveling in airport has become very common. Oka time lo 90s and early 2000s lo traveling in airport was such an expensive affair. I'm sure many of you would have remembered. Some people actually villages and rural areas lo వాళ్ళకి ఏమి ఉండేది, ఒకసారైనా చనిపోయే ముందు ఏరోప్లేన్లో ఎక్కాలరా అని ఉండేది. But now because of the rapid urbanization and rising millennials, we have seen a lot of growth in airports and 200 plus developed airports మనకి 2038 వరకు కావాలి. సో ఇలాంటి సిచ్యువేషన్లో మన గవర్నమెంట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇట్ కెనాట్ డూ ద హోల్ వర్క్ కదా. 200 plus airports a government agency cannot manage. So it should give back some revenue sharing with the private enterprises and people on the whole. So this is an ongoing development. మనకి GS4లో in APPSC we have PPP directly under infrastructure models. So దానికి ఇదో current affair and this is very important. You should definitely quote this when you're writing any answers about AAI or airports or PPP model. ఇవన్నిటికి this is a very important article. Moving on to the state specific news. ఇక్కడ నుంచి we'll discuss the news for APPSC examinations. The first one is ఇప్పుడు క్యాపిటల్ డెసిషన్లో ఏదైతే కేస్ అవుతుందో మన సుప్రీంకోర్టులో దాంట్లో సెంట్రల్ won't play any role అని the government has reiterated. In the framing of the AP Capital Region Development Authority Repeal Act, CRDA Act ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని రిపీల్ చేయడానికి అవుతున్న యాక్ట్ సుప్రీంకోర్టుకి ఏదైతే వెళ్ళిందో దాంట్లో సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ది ఏం పవర్ ఉండదని yesterday the Under Secretary for Union Ministry of Home Affairs, they stated in a counter affidavit submitted in response to petition in High Court. So because they are saying that the subject matter purely concerns the state government and the central government has no role to play. So basically the center has come out from the tangle. ఏదైతే ట్యాంగిల్ నడిచిందో మనది సెంటర్ స్టేట్ అండ్ జ్యుడిషియరీ సుప్రీంకోర్టు మధ్య ట్యాంగిల్ అని అనుకున్నారు యాక్చువల్లీ స్టార్టింగ్లో. సెంటర్ ఏం చేస్తుంది 3 క్యాపిటల్స్ డెసిషన్లో అండ్ ఆల్ అని. సో దానికి ఇప్పుడు దెర్ ఇస్ సమ్ రెస్పెక్ట్. ఓకే, సో నెక్స్ట్ ఇస్ మన గోదావరి flood relief which we have been discussing for the last 3-4 days. Dantlo there is some relief because the flood level has receded. I'm really sorry, I don't know. The flood level has receded. One second. Okay, you can see here the Godavari flood conservator to withdraw the third warning as discharge fell below 18 lakh cusecs, the SAC, the Sir Arthur Cotton Marriage ధవళేశ్వరంలో ఏదైతే ఉందో, that has fallen below 18 lakh cusecs. So it is at a manageable level. At Bhadrachalam, the water level was 43 feet. A few days back, it was actually 67 feet touching. Now it has fallen to 43 feet, and the irrigation authorities have decided not to let the flood water flow into the irrigation channels, as it may lead to breach of the canal bunds. So floodwater irrigation canals ki vellakunda, instead it would be released into branches of river Godavari as it will go into the sea. Yesterday we have seen 3 branches of Godavari. I hope you remember the Vain Ganga and mana the Vriddha Ganga, Vasishta and Koringa ఏవైతే మనకి ట్రిబ్యూటరీస్ ఉన్నాయి. గోదావరి బేసిక్లీ సౌత్ ఈస్ట్ గోదావరి ఎప్పుడైతే సౌత్ ఈస్ట్ డైరెక్షన్ నుంచి ఫ్లో అవుతుందో అప్పుడు ఇట్ డివైడ్స్ ఇంటూ ద కొరింగా అండ్ రిద్గంగా అండ్ ఇప్పుడు మన అదేవిధంగా వశిష్ట కూడా ఇంకో ట్రిబ్యూటరీ. సో ఈ 3 ట్రిబ్యూటరీస్లో వీ హ్యావ్ సీన్ అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్లడింగ్ అండ్ దిస్ is being released into the back to river Godavari అని అంటున్నారు, because the tank bund might break. And similarly, apart from the entire mandal of Devi Patnam in Rampa agency and 4 mandals in Chittoor agency that are upstream of the barrage. So all these areas are important for the preliminary examination, but basically on the whole the gist of the article is the flood level ఏదైతే ఉందో it is being receded. So the next article, yesterday we had a state cabinet meeting, and the government has cleared plans to set up electronics cluster in Kadapa, which we have been seeing for the last 1 year. The manufacturing cluster at Kopparthi in Kadapa district ఏదైతే stress చేస్తున్నారో అది it will go forward now అని the same. The central government, the state cabinet has given an in principle approval. So this is very important. కొప్పర్ది పేరు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఇది చాలా మన స్టేట్ కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్స్ బిట్స్లో ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. దానికి ఇప్పుడు అప్రూవల్ it has come. It has also approved the setting up of bulk drug park in East Godavari district. And addressing the media, the INPR Minister Venkatramaya, he has said that the cabinet also approved the new industrial policy. The new industrial policy which we have seen yesterday. If people have not seen, please watch yesterday's video where we discussed the new AP industrial policy at length. And this is very important for the mains examination. We are expecting a 100% question on the AP industrial policy because of the new latest policy to be approved, and this becomes important. And here at the Kopparthilo edaithe electronics manufacturing cluster untundo, it will create the employment for 1 lakh people, and an investment of 10,000 crore will be made, and the government will spend 730 crore for creating basic infrastructure. And bulk drug park ఏదైతే ఇప్పుడు కొత్తగా ఈస్ట్ గోదావరి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్లో సెట్ చేయాలని అంటున్నారో that will be developed at 6,940 crore. And the cabinet had also given the nod for establishing the AP Bulk Drug Infrastructure Corporation. And the cabinet also approved the proposal to develop a hydropower generating unit in Vizag, which can establish 2 units with capacity of 115 megawatt, with each budget of 150 crores. And it has also decided that the DPR, Bhavanapadu Port phase చూస్తున్నాం మనం, it would be prepared by RITS. This is an ongoing development. Let us see what will happen with the Bhavanapadu Port. But దీని DPR కూడా it would be prepared. And this would be almost 3,669 crores అంటున్నారు. And the cabinet also gave its nod for proposal to establish a police subdivision and traffic police station at Raichoti and sanction 76 home guards for Kadapa district. ఇవన్నీ చిన్న చిన్న న్యూస్, బట్ ఇవి మనకి ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఏదైతే కొప్పర్తిలో చూసామో అండ్ ఈస్ట్ గోదావరి డిస్ట్రిక్ట్, అండ్ సిమిలర్లీ the AP Bulk Drug Infrastructure Corporation and hydropower generating unit in Vizag, Visakhapatnam. These 4 are extremely important. And the cabinet also discussed agriculture and marketing issues. And YS Jagannath Reddy decided to provide quality rice at the doorstep of the card holders. And the cabinet also announced this initiative from December 1st. It has been approved from December 1st. Provide quality rice at the doorstep ke BM scheme from December 1st it would be started. Actually, it was to begin before, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the doorstep law rise and social distancing norms, this has been delayed. Now they're saying from December 1st it will be launched. And the government has earmarked a budget of 550 crore to purchase so and so vehicles for unemployed youth of BC, SC, ST, and minority communities. So several welfare measures had been approved or they. So, and the next manaki edaithe undo, in a continuation, we have more schemes which have been given nod in the cabinet meeting. We have seen the industrial part of it and welfare schemes lo kuda. We have seen yesterday there are approvals which have been given. Like to begin, the first is the YSR Asara scheme. YSR Asara scheme edaithe undo, it has been implemented from September 11th and it is part of the Navaratnalu program. Electoral promise of YSRCP edaithe undo Navaratnalu program. And YSR Asara scheme deniki, are any of you aware? Yes, the YSR Asara scheme is basically to extend financial assistance to the self-help groups. So and also the government proposes to waive the loans availed by SFGs from the banks. So April 11th వరకు ఏవైతే loans తీసుకున్నారో, it has been proposed to be waived. And almost 90 lakh women would be benefited from the scheme, and the government has earmarked 6,792 crore for the financial year for the scheme. So when we have a discussion, for example, Dwakra, it has been directly mentioned in the GS4 part, AP economy law, and even governance, AP governance, when you talk of it, Dwakra is very important, which are the SHGs. And whenever you're talking of such Dwakra and SFG, your answer cannot be finished without mentioning the schemes. Like YSR Asara edaithe undo, you should definitely mention such schemes. Lekapothe my answer would be definitely incomplete. So that is about YSR Asara. And similarly, the cabinet has also decided to implement the YSR Sampurna Poshana scheme from September 1st and YSR Vidya Kanuka from September 5th. And the cabinet has also approved the new industrial policy, which we have seen in yesterday's video, which we covered properly. Now, Sampurna Poshana deniki, YSR Sampurna Poshana scheme edaithe undo, it is for Sampurna Poshana Plus scheme edaithe undo, it is for tribal mandals. Sampurna Poshana. అదే విధంగా సంపూర్ణ sorry, 1 second. అదే విధంగా సంపూర్ణ పోషణ ఏదైతే ఉందో that is for the remaining mandals. You can see here. సంపూర్ణ పోషణ ప్లస్ ఒకటి, సంపూర్ణ పోషణ ఒకటి. And దీనికి the government would spend 1,800 crore to supply nutritious food to pregnant women belonging to BPL families. And this is another small scheme, which is the Jagananna. This is not YSR. Please note the difference. This is Jagananna Vidya Kanuka. And this scheme is for basically uniforms, schools, bells, and other parts. Okay. So these are the welfare schemes. And there are more schemes which were given approval yesterday. Important is the YSR Cheyuta scheme. Okay. YSR Cheyuta scheme edaithe undo, ideniki YSR Cheyuta scheme, it is basically giving hand holding support. It is for hand holding financial support to women to set up any industrial enterprise cheyadaniki it has been used. And here you can see in AP, according to Mr. T. Vijay Kumar Reddy, who's the PR INPR commissioner, he has told that majority of women have opted for purchase of buffaloes to set up the dairy units. And similarly, many women have opted setting up of incense sticks manufacturing unit. And about 6.15 lakh women, they have opted for various other small scale businesses. So MSMEs ki kuda the women can use the YSR Cheyuta scheme. So such schemes like YSR Asara and అదే విధంగా వైఎస్ఆర్ చేయూత అండ్ ఈవెన్ విద్యా కానుక ఒక విధంగా పోషణ ఇవన్నీ దే కెన్ కమ్ అండర్ విమెన్ వెల్ఫేర్ స్కీమ్స్ కదా. సో ఇఫ్ దిస్ క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్ ద వెల్ఫేర్ ఆఫ్ విమెన్ స్కీమ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో యూ షుడ్ డెఫినెట్లీ మెన్షన్ సచ్ స్కీమ్స్. And another news I found in today's paper regarding the safety, women's safety, is online women's safety. This is another area. Cyber crime against women and a webinar in a Petar APCID and Cyber Peace Foundation. Under that, it has been told that almost 412 genuine complaints were filed from March 25th to April 25th. అంటే ఈ పాండమిక్ టైంలోనే 412 complaints were filed and 396 were serious in nature. Okay, and here this I found the most important part of the article. For example, in GS5 we have ICT and cyber crime ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో we have such aspects kada. Now under such aspects you should definitely mention such facts. Like in India, 71 crore people are using internet, out of which 25 crore are women, and 80% of people are falling prey to cyber crimes. Can you imagine? 80%, such a big number, they are falling for cyber crime. And 63% don't even know అసలు ఎలా మనం కంప్లైంట్ ఎలా పెట్టాలి, ఇప్పుడు సర్టన్కి ఎలా అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి, సైబర్ సెక్యూరిటీ పాలసీలు ఏవైతే మనకి ప్రొవిజన్స్ ఉన్నాయో అవి ఎలా యూస్ చేయాలో అవి కూడా తెలియట్లేదు. అండ్ ఏపీ గవర్నమెంట్ నుంచి దెర్ ఇస్ అ వాట్సాప్ నంబర్ ఫర్ విమెన్ హెరాస్మెంట్ సైబర్ క్రైమ్స్ అవుతాయి టు రిపోర్ట్. అండ్ ఏపీసీఐడిది 4S4U వెబ్ పోర్టల్ ఉన్నది. అండ్ అదేవిధంగా దిశ పోలీస్ స్టేషన్స్, ఆఫ్టర్ దిశ పోలీస్ స్టేషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో దేర్ ఆల్సో ఇట్ కెన్ బి రిపోర్టెడ్. So that is about cyber crime in women. This is a niche area and AP government measures into we have seen. The next is related to AP horticulture. Okay, here the horticulture department has taken the technology route to impart training for farmers in view of the COVID pandemic. Now more than 150 farmers from 20 villages, they took part in integrated agri extension platform for chili value chain development. Now horticulture అనేది మనకి డైరెక్ట్లీ GS4లో మెన్షన్ అయింది. ఏపీ ఎకానమీలో ఏపీ అగ్రికల్చర్, బేసిక్లీ ఏపీ అగ్రికల్చర్లో వీ హ్యావ్ మెన్షన్ ఆఫ్ హార్టికల్చర్. And horticulture actually is very important in the context of AP because AP is the second largest producer of horticulture products in India, if you see. So that is the reason why horticulture అనేది it's a very prestigious thing in AP. That is the reason why we have a separate horticulture department also. We have a separate department of horticulture, and this is also taken up by Department of Horticulture here. Many states don't have a separate department. In AP we have this, and on a broader scheme, if you see, this basically falls under e-technology in the aid of farmers. This is there in the UPSC syllabus also, and if there's a question on e-technology in aid of farmers, such case studies should be mentioned. And this also falls under agriculture extension. Agri extension services ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో of extending help to farmers, this is part of it. Okay, and the justice integrated agri extension platform for chili value chain development, idoka PPP program. It has been run by horticulture department in ITC. So like at farmers ki they have been trained on how to grow chili and the right time to grow chili, and it would be covering 25,000 acres, covering 10,000 farmers with the aim to benefit 40,000 farmers. So that is all the AP related news. And now let us move on to the editorials of today. The first is the need for transparency. So the government must not stall queries related to operation of PM CARES Fund. PM CARES Fund ఏదైతే ఉందో Prime Minister's Citizen Assurance and Relief in Emergency Situation Fund. Yesterday we have seen the Supreme Court has told that there is no need for a CAG audit. For a CAG audit in mana PM CARES Fund. No need for a CAG audit. So దానికి continuation basically today's editorial, it has been focusing that the Supreme Court has rejected the writ petition calling for funds diversion from this fund to NDRF and denied petitioners' claim that public charitable trust should be audited by CAG. And there is also no need for a fresh trust. And basically the whole editorial is focusing on yesterday's news which came. If you haven't watched, please watch yesterday's 19th August ఏదైతే మనం డిస్కస్ చేసామో. We have discussed, this was basically the headlines, the Supreme Court judgment on PM CARES, and we also saw the other funds, the PM NRF and the NDRF. PM CARES is this fund, and ade vidhanga we saw the PM NRF and also the NDRF, which is a statutory fund. So all these three, and we have compared it. So please watch yesterday's video if you haven't. And here another point they're making is the fund was not a public authority, even though the PM is its ex officio chairman and 3 cabinet ministers are its trustees. So మనకు RTA Act లో we have something called the Section 2H. Section 2H లో we have public authority, and ఏవైతే పబ్లిక్ అథారిటీస్ ఉన్నాయో వాటి మీదే RTA Act వర్తిస్తుంది. And ఇది పబ్లిక్ అథారిటీ కాదని it has been argued, even though the Prime Minister himself is the ex officio chair. Anyway, since we have a Supreme Court ruling, there is no point in discussing it further, but it can be quoted as a criticism, of course, and the conclusion at least is useful. The Hindu editorial says that at the very least, RTA requests which seek to understand how the funds are being received and how they are being dispersed, it should be legitimate. And similarly, the government should publicize the donations to the more accountable NDRF, which allows for a transfer of funds to the various states. And the last article basically for Indian view, national news Tuesday, I found this a very good article by IMF India's mission chief, Mr. Ranil Salgaon. He is the IMF India mission chief. He has discussed the questions of macroeconomic policy, growth dynamics, and poverty alleviation. But COVID-19 pandemic lo andaru they're saying that there's a huge impact on Indian economy and jobs తగ్గుతాయి and NPS పెరుగుతాయి. ఇలాంటి news we have been seeing for the last few weeks or even last few months. So in this article, I found there's a proper summary of the COVID-19 impact on Indian economy and how it will further grow. Like you can see, Mr. Ranil Salgaon is saying that the impact of COVID-19, the lockdown and the following effects, they include a supply side hit and also impact on consumers and corporations. So దీనివల్ల spending ఏదైతుందో తగ్గింది. And India implemented a very strict lockdown, probably one of the strictest lockdowns in the world. So they're expecting that globally, because we thought of the preemptive lockdown would achieve better results, unfortunately, India has not been able to gain full control of the COVID-19 situation. So when we look at the numbers, in early June 2020, we revised the India's fall. And now they're saying it can come back to 7% growth. And ఇప్పుడు ఇండియా ఎలాంటి పాత్ తీసుకోవాలి అంటే, in India, decisions regarding the fiscal expenditure or stimulus are more difficult because of the initial condition of high level of government or public debt. And we think a large part of stimulus should be focused on vulnerable households. Because ఈ pandemic వల్ల ఎవరైతే vulnerable households most important, they would be affected. కదా, the below poverty line families or the SC, ST, బీసీ మైనారిటీ ఫ్యామిలీస్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వీటిపైన it should be focused. And this includes in-kind transfers and food transfers, which have worked well, and support for rural employment and also urban employment. And this another discussion on UBI also. Can a UBI, universal basic income, ఏదైతే అందరికీ ఒక minimum income ఇచ్చే, can that be done ante? This is a difficult issue he's been saying, and there has been proposals by previous chief economic advisor Mr. Arvind Subramanian ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారు. In the economic survey 2016, he had focused on the UBI. Apatlo it was a very new concept, but now again they're saying that it is a more limited form of that. But he's saying that it cannot be universal in India. It has to be combined by fiscal issues, more extensive subsidies, and it should be given to vulnerable and poorer households. And similarly, should there be deficit monetization? And should RBI print more notes, and should there be a monetization of the debt ఏదైతే ఉందో? They're saying for India, it should be a last resort. Indonesia has been doing it, but in India, it should be large resort because the problem is for us a shortfall in demand, and there seems to be plenty of savings. So since there is the currency in circulation ఏదైతే ఉందో, ఇప్పుడు మనం when we see the measures of money supply, we have MO, M1, M2, M3, M4 when we read Indian economy. So M3 ఏదైతే aggregate money supply ఉంటుందో దాంట్లో the maximum, like the currency in public plus the demand deposits and the time deposits ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో అవన్నిటివి ఇండియాకి స్ట్రాంగ్ ఉన్నాయి because there are a lot of savings. So far the government has not had to do this. And once the COVID-19 crisis is passed, India has to get back to its long-term fiscal consolidation strategy. That is what they're saying, and it could help to avoid any need for consideration of monetization. And what are the structural reforms which have to be taken into? Mr. Ranil Selgav is saying that the insolvency and bankruptcy code, forming a national GST, and improving on the EODB indicators, all of these and issues relating to FDA, all of these have been done with progress, and many other areas are needed, like step up in infrastructure spending and further progress on labor market and so on. And if you see the banking and liquidity crisis, he's saying, like Arvind Subramanian, which we have discussed, he have given a 4R scheme for the banking, liquidity, and NPA problem ఏదైతే ఉందో. So that is basically 4Rs are, and 4R lo 3Rs, which are recognizing stress deficits and putting together resolution and recapitulation. All these three have been done quite well in India ani the author is opining. But the fourth step, ఏదైతే మన governance issues ఉన్నాయో, reform of governance issues, it should be extended to private sector banks, is saying. And the silver lining is, when you think of India about 2 years ago, the country was averaging 7% over previous decade, and partly it reflects the demographic. India has a relatively young population, because we know that almost 65% of the population of India are less than 35 years. So India has a relatively young population. This figure, it has been quoted many times. So because we have a young population, and second, India has a large potential for catch up for productivity level structural reforms and infrastructure investment, we can achieve the 7% growth again, and it has been told. So this is the whole gist of the article. So with this, we can wrap up our current affairs discussion. There are 2 sample mains questions here for you. How far do you think that the NRA, the National Recruitment Agency, can change the contours of the government employment in India? So you should focus on the article which we have discussed and the details, like how 2.5 crore to 3 crore employment people ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో it can be done in the 3 areas of RRBs, SSC, and IBPS. And you can actually focus on the unemployment situation of how India has had 6.1% unemployment rate, before the pandemic, and it has grown hugely after the pandemic, and all such things, and how NRA can streamline and you can focus. Enumerate the steps taken by government of Andhra Pradesh for welfare of women, which we had already discussed after the cabinet meeting, which we have seen the YSR Chiyuta, YSR Asara, and Megita schemes, and you can also focus on women's safety, and you can give a good answer. So actually, I felt the preparation for Group One, it doesn't lie in the competitive examination books by various publishers, which tend to confuse the aspirant. The focus should be on newspaper primarily, because that is our primary source of information. And in newspaper nunche there is so much information, as you have seen. And అన్ని ఏవైతే కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ బుక్స్ ఆర్ మెటీరియల్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఇవన్నీ ఇట్ ఇస్ కాపీడ్ ఫ్రమ్ ది న్యూస్ పేపర్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. So I would advise all the aspirants to make full benefit of the newspaper and this module by E-Taragati, where ఇంత డెప్త్లో nobody is covering APPSC updates ఇంత డెప్త్లో, and it would be extremely useful for all the state examinations and of course UPSC also. So thank you again. Please like, share and subscribe to the video, and we shall meet tomorrow with the next news podcast. Thank you and all the best.